Hey everybody, Brian Zayn here with old Egghead Jay Biggs, as you guys call him in the comment section. And we just got to the fabulous Travelodge near the Las Vegas airport, and we just got back from seeing Money in the Bank. Off the bat, what did you think of the show, Biggs?
Oh, dude, best pay-per-view WWE's done in a long time.
Yeah, considering we went to WrestleMania earlier this year, very underwhelming pay-per-view. This one, by far, exceeded the feeling you got after that one. So, without any further ado, let's go match by match and talk about our thoughts about the matches. Opening match of the pre-show, you got BreezAngo, aka Febreze, according to Reddit Squared Circle, versus the Golden Truth. I actually forgot that the setup for this match was the whole thing, the Golden Truth sabotaging the tanning beds, tanning booths. So, because from where we were sitting, which great seats by the way, thank you very much, Seat Geek. But the first thing I noticed, boy, they sure look orange. Like they just like, yeah. And then it took me a minute to realize, oh, there's a whole storyline behind this. And then I saw the fake dead skin on their body, which looked gross. Because it was a pre-show match, crowd was a little dead for it. They got hotter through the whole night, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But the match itself was serviceable, I thought. Hopefully this rivalry can move on, and these two different teams can do something else. Did you have any thoughts about this match in particular?
No, not really. Yeah, they did look like they've been partying at Club Med in the sun for 12 hours each the last 2 days.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, the match was actually decent, and R-Truth and Goldust super over live.
Yeah,
Sure.
Despite the quieter crowd, because it wasn't all packed yet, they still got very much over, and the what's-ups were loud and true.
Very.
I thought, and also off camera, off air, the guy sweeping up the dead skin in the ring got a pretty good chant as well.
Yes, he did.
So
Sweep, sweep.
kudos to the ring crew there for sweeping it all up. The second of two pre-show matches featured the Lucha Dragons taking on those damn Dudley boys. I thought it was interesting. The Dudley boys were more over than the Lucha Dragons, who were the good guys.
Yeah, odd, but that's kind of how it started off for them. And maybe just Vegas liked the nostalgic team of the Dudley boys. Either way,
they popped for the fake table, the fake out for the table.
Right, that was
that got
classic
huge.
heel.
Classic heel stuff, and just the popped big for the fake table spot.
Not as heel as Rusev later, but we'll talk about that.
Right. The one thing I thought was, Kalisto looked strong, he usually does, and just seeing him in action during the comeback and everything and the finish makes me wonder why, why did they do nothing with him when he was U.S. champ? It seems like it was just a wasted opportunity. He got good matches out of it. I just feel like they could have used him better as champion.
Definitely.
It feels like he was like a transitional champion for Rusev. It's sad to say. I think the match was, it was a serviceable match. The Lucha Dragons going over. Dudley's putting the other people over as they want to do. It was a fine pre-show, got the crowd hyped up for the show itself. First official match of the night was the Tag Team Championship Fatal 4-Way, the New Day defending against the Club, Enzo and Cass, and the Vaudevillains. Very interesting to have 3 straight tag team matches to start off the show. Very interesting choice.
Especially when you think back a couple years ago when the tag team division was struggling, man.
It was dead.
I mean, it was dead.
And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tag team matches in the first three matches of the night, which is crazy. And then you've got a women's tag match later in the night. So a very night of tag team matches here at Money in the Bank. But anyway, this match was a lot of fun. Kind of botchy near the end. They kind of really toward the end, there was just some botches and miscues and just like waiting in line for their to get their stuff in.
Correct.
So it certainly ruined the magic of the "This is awesome" chant that happened earlier in that match. And I think, I might mention this later in the review, but I thought that the fans were a little too liberal with the "This is awesome" stuff. I thought the tag team match, while it was fun, didn't quite warrant that chant when you compare it. Like literally almost every match. Like short of the U.S. Championship match, like everything got a "This is awesome" chant. Like you've killed the magic of "This is awesome." Please, live crowds, stop doing that. I'm so sick of hearing "This is awesome," and like it's just a way for fans to pop themselves. Really,
only when Shane jumps off the Hell in a Cell,
pretty much,
are you allowed to say stuff like that.
Stuff on that level is about the only time I think you're allowed to say "This is awesome." I think this show and this match did have some "This is awesome" worthy moments.
Right.
But again, I think the fans were a little too quick to jump to the gun and do the "This is awesome" chant for this one. But I mean, the match was fine. Everyone got their stuff in. It was
all in all, the match was actually really good. But yeah, you're right. There were a few botches, especially Big Cass for some reason towards the end. I was seeing a lot of stuff out of him.
The New Day winning surprised me. I didn't see that coming because I mean, like, Is it weird to feel that, like, is it weird to know that this tag team is gonna, like, probably break Demolition's record? Like, it's just, if they haven't already, I forget the actual number is, but, like, they're on their way, and it's just really bizarre. It's like, I think the gimmick is still fresh, but I think they've lived past the shelf life. They don't need the tag team championships.
Right.
With all these other tag teams that have now cropped up, eight different teams in 3 matches on this night. Let's spread it around a little bit. That's my recommendation.
Who would you put it on?
I was honestly guessing, like, probably the Club or Enzo and Cass. I didn't think the Vaudevillains were going to win. They came close at one point, and I just didn't see the New Day winning. So I would have guessed Enzo and Cass or the Club. So I was not disappointed necessarily, but I was just a little surprised.
And see, to me, I think for some reason, I'm not sure why, I think Enzo and Cass are going to break up eventually, maybe during the brand split.
I think, yeah, they're a team that you can tell they're kind of grooming big Cass for, like, bigger things as a singles guy, but, like, those two work very well together.
Yes.
So I think the longer they keep them together right now, the split will mean more. Because obviously they've been around for a while in NXT, but not everyone knows their history with NXT. So we'll see how that goes. Up next, Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler, part 27. Hated it. Honestly, I mean, no more of this, please. That's all I'm going to say. The match itself started out hella boring.
You even got a boring chant.
You got a boring chant, and Corbin, good on him for drinking it all in and posing for the crowd after that boring chant. It was very, very old school stuff there. But it's like we've seen this match. It's boring because we've seen it so often,
right.
And there's only so much they can do with it. They already went to Dick Kick City on Raw. They can't do much more than that, short of a cage match or some other wacky stipulation. So I say, if this is the end, please let it be the end. No more. I swear, Baron Corbin must have committed some huge faux pas in NXT, and so his obscure punishment, like some weird wrestler's court punishment, is that he's got to wrestle Dolph Ziggler for the rest of his life.
They're going to make Summer Rae his valet soon, probably.
I know. I was like, we're going to bring Summer Rae back, and they're going to do, no more of this, please. I don't care what you do with either of these guys. Just don't let them wrestle each other anymore, please. Up next, the 4th and final tag team match of the night. It was the women's tag team match. It was Charlotte and Dana Brooke going against Natalya and Becky Lynch. First of all, I thought Natalya's hair looked ridiculous. I don't know what...
Pebbles?
I don't know. Yeah, they kind of like pebbles. I didn't get the bun. She's done the bun before, but this one looked like only a small part of her hair got electrocuted. It was very weird.
We should have known that was prelude to her heel turn.
Exactly. And the match itself, talking about the match itself, I thought it was all right for what it was. I think the way they've been booking Charlotte these last few weeks has been very confusing, very frustrating, because they do the thing where she kicks out Ric Flair, which was unexpected, but I think people were into it. The next week, she has her metaphorical balls cut off by Stephanie. Yeah. She doesn't do anything about it. And then the following week, she backpedals and apologizes for kicking Ric Flair to the curb. And on top of that, the week before, on the go-home show, Paige beats her in an on-title match. And she had nothing to do with the next match. And that's not the first time that's happened. I believe that's happened at least 1 or 2 times in the last half a year or so. And not only that, but they're already teasing dissension between Charlotte and Dana Brooke less than a month into their alignment, which is just so weird. But anyway...
I think Emma's injury really threw a lot of things off for the WWE creative.
Well, at the very least for Dana Brooke, I didn't think that it was nice of them to audible and align Dana Brooke with Charlotte after Emma's injury, because who knows where that alliance would have led to. So they wanted to use Dana Brooke. They're high on Dana Brooke right now, so it makes sense for her to be aligned with the women's champion. I think they were just kind of spinning their wheels in this match because they're obviously kind of killing time until Sasha Banks is back, and they do, they had a "We Want Sasha" chant, and I was kind of ready to join them. But they're spinning the wheels until Sasha's ready, and they're going to fight for the title at SummerSlam.
I think, and I hope a lot of you out there can agree with me, I think we were kind of robbed of having that second Money in the Bank match in one evening.
It's like, I think the
we could have had the girls.
The rumors and, the fan desire from what I've seen for a women's Money in the Bank, it's like, you could have done it this year. I mean, just those 4 women in there, if you had Sasha, who is healthy, and, maybe, I'm thinking next year they'll do it. If they do it at all, they'll do it next year. Because, if you keep those 4 women, you got Bayley, hopefully coming with the main roster, and then you got maybe Asuka or Nia Jax. You got a lot of options. And Sasha. You can bring all those people up.
We already know what's going to happen. All the girls are going to get hurt, and then Stephanie McMahon's going to come out, and she's going to escalate up the ladder, and she's going to actually pull down the women in Money in the Bank briefcase.
It's the best thing for the women's revolution. But let us know what you think about the possibility of a women's Money in the Bank. Do you think that could happen next year? Let us know. But anyway, and let's talk about Natalya's heel turn after the match.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know if it was a frustration thing, because that's the last thing this division needs is another female heel
right.
with no real strong female protagonist.
Well, she just has feelings. She was crying on the way out.
And she, you know, maybe she turned heel, maybe she beat up Becky because there was a miscommunication because they got thrown into each other. I don't know what happened, but anyway, that was the match, and let's just wait and see what happens in the next couple months.
Right.
Sheamus versus Apollo Crews. Didn't watch it because we both decided to go out to the concession stand, and lines were hella long, so we missed everything about that match. We saw the entrances.
Yeah.
That was about it. We heard on the speakers that Apollo Crews won. It was really weird because at WrestleMania, when you were out doing the concessions, there were a bunch of monitors everywhere that showed you the show. And they didn't have that at T-Mobile Arena. They had a bunch of monitors because they had ads they wanted to put up for Bud Light, whatever the hell, but they didn't have anything shown. And they had the Money in the Bank like graphic floating around on monitors, but they didn't have any feed of the show, which is such a bad move. You're this brand new stadium or this brand new arena. You think you could accommodate for something as simple as that, but they botched that. And so, yeah, we missed that entire match, so we can't really say anything about it. The match that was 14 years or so in the making, John Cena and AJ Styles, what is surely to be not their last encounter, especially after the finish we saw in this match. Now, and let me tell you this match got a couple of This Is Awesome chants, and I think this one was a lot more deserving than the tag team match earlier. Now, they were both fun in their own ways, but the really impressive thing about this match, this got a This Is Awesome chant, and Cena Styles barely had to do anything. Like, if you watch that match, there's like, you know, you can count like at an average of 20 to 30 seconds where they don't do anything, and they're just like taunting or selling. It's like literally, it's like spot, wait, and I thought that was brilliant, you know, because these two, they could have a fast-paced match, but they didn't need to because they just had the aura of Cena Styles.
That's what keeps those next upcoming matches, at least in my mind, that's what keeps me interested in seeing those.
Right, and that crowd, you know, we've been to 2 consecutive WrestleManias now.
Right.
And I cannot recall for either of those shows the crowd being as vocal and as intense as those opening moments were in Cena Styles.
Yeah.
The dueling chants, it was chaos.
That was history.
It's, you know, there's going to be more Cena Styles matches in the future, but it was really cool because we got to be there for the first one.
Right.
And you can't take that away, you know. But yeah, I think the match was good. It was like, they did very good. There's like one botch where Styles was going to go over the ropes and he shorted it and he landed on his head. That was kind of scary, but other than that, and then there was the sequence itself at the end, the go home, which I loved it. It was very counter. You know, they had all their counters saved up. They were hitting R2 just the right time, and they were countering all their stuff. And then there was the ref bump, and then the club comes in, takes out Cena. So Styles winning is a huge deal, you know, on the macro level of things, because, you know, not everyone expected Styles to go over Cena. You know, everyone expected Cena just to win forever and ever, and he will probably win the blow-off.
Well, tell me this, though. Who do you think, because obviously the club is 3 people at this current moment, do you think he's going to face them by himself, or do you think he's going to have some help?
I would hope.
Just tell me you think it's Finn Balor.
Oh, yes, Finn Balor. Finn Balor. He's the answer to everything.
As a demon.
I just, you know, and who knows if Finn Balor does factor into the equation later on. I don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they stretch this out to SummerSlam. I hope that the next match isn't automatically a Battleground. I would maybe, if they are going to do it, have it be a 6-man tag or something.
To keep the next match fresh for SummerSlam.
Right, because I don't want to see 3 singles matches in a row.
Correct.
Don't blow it. Don't blow your wad on this. Don't kill it for me and the fans by SummerSlam. Have your rematch, your one-on-one at SummerSlam. That's fine. But have a 6-man or something in between, or a contract signing or something. Even though we just had one last week on Raw, but you know, just don't kill this already. But I think the match was really good overall. The fans popped for everything. Like again, they didn't have to do anything because there's the aura of that match. And so Cena so Styles going over dirty, not as much of an impact to me as I felt as Owens winning over Cena last year clean. But it adds a different level of intrigue going into their feud in the months to come. Money in the Bank. Sorry, guys. No 7th man. No Finn Balor. Shut the hell up. This match was really exciting and crazy, like Money in the Bank matches are supposed to be. You know, everyone got their stuff in. There was a lot of stuff, you know, Cesaro, you know, uppercutting people into infinity, and then Owens doing the cannonballs into infinity and all that stuff. One thing I thought was impressive, Alberto Del Rio, his double stomp, making sense twice in a row. Usually that doesn't happen because they got, Cesaro was prone, he was laying on the ladder, he wasn't sitting up for it, so that made sense. And then right afterward, Del Rio doing the double stomp from the ladder onto prone Jericho.
Yeah.
So that, it's like 3 times in the last calendar year he's done a double stomp that actually makes sense. What did you think about the match?
Hey, with those 6 caliber names in there, holy crap, it was bound to be great, and it was. I will say that I like the dynamic of 6 better than I do 7, and the reason for that is because you have three
one-on-ones.
Yeah, three feuds that were going on. You never knew. Where it seems like with the 7th guy, you always got someone kind of squirrely running around. You never know what's going to happen, and that to me just, I don't know, I don't want to say unfair, but it just doesn't make as intriguing of a.
I just think in wrestling, even numbers are the best. Having 7-person, matches like that, it just throws everything off. I think this was the perfect combination of all 6 guys. Everyone had, I think, booking-wise and build, a legitimate shot at winning the whole thing. The whole ending with the erector set of ladders together, the 4 and then the 2. It's like, cool your jets. It was a little convoluted, but it was still fun to watch. It's just one of those things where it's like you can't fold your arms and say, mumble grumble the good old days. Because it was just a fun match overall. I think Sami Zayn spent combined approximately 10 minutes up on the top of that ladder during that whole ending sequence.
Yeah.
He was just chilling there doing this for 10 minutes as the thing was happening around him, and then he finally had his finishing spot.
What's funny is I did read that originally Owens was supposed to win this match, and just within the last week they made the decision to have Ambrose win it.
Well, and that's speculation. I think, I predicted Owens was going to win it. I didn't think Ambrose was going to win it. We'll talk about more of the adventures of Ambrose later. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I think ultimately the right person won. Right. It was just a really fun thing. It was just a fun match. It was a spot fest. It was, very reminiscent of the WrestleMania ladder match, but again, 6 guys instead of 7, which made it, in my opinion, for a better match. Right. And it just felt more exciting overall. I think because the stakes were higher because it was Money in the Bank instead of the Intercontinental title, which is So, and also one more thing I wanted to add is just, in my opinion, sickest bump of the night, of the year, the Michinoku driver from Sami Zayn onto Kevin Owens on the spine or the side of the ladder. Jesus, that's a bump they ought not to be taken often. That was pretty sick, but I just wanted to add that little add.
Well, let me just say this too. Those are the kind of moves that you see guys on the independent circuit doing in front of 30 people. It's okay to save stuff like that for Money in the Bank in front of 20,000 people. It really is.
Yeah, exactly. All right, folks, this is the real match you were all waiting for. The United States Championship, Rusev defending against Father of the Year, Titus O'Neil. I was kind of worried that Titus was going to win on account of the fact, he's good PR, he's Father of the Year, whatever. But I don't think...
Dude, the crowd flops on him.
I don't get it. I don't get what they see in Titus. He's a great athlete, and he's a fine worker, but I just don't see his aura. I don't get the essence. I don't get why the management likes it so much.
My favorite time with Titus O'Neil was when he was going to come in with Percy Watson from NXT. I love Percy.
And that's pre-Full Sail days.
Yeah.
Yeah, Percy Watson.
Briscoe's going to love that.
Yeah, where's Percy Watson, man?
I don't know.
Talk about of all the NXT guys,
Yeah.
Percy Watson had a character. I think that we're going to do a tangent here because the match really, it was fine. Rusev goes over. Rusev gets great classic heel heat by talking smack to Titus's kids.
And he tapped out Titus. Holy crap.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Holy hell, that's going to be the first time in over a year that someone's actually tapped out to the accolade.
Right.
Main event time for the World Championship. Roman Reigns defending against Seth Rollins.
Been waiting for this one, man.
Been waiting for this one, man. And this match was interesting because the build to this, both were kind of shades of gray. You could tell they really wanted... We know how they feel about Roman Reigns and how they want to portray him. Mm-hmm. And you get the sense that when Rollins came back, they were trying to push him as this heel, but obviously the fans didn't want any part of that.
Right.
Very weird quality control, lack of continuity when they make this documentary about him and they paint him as this very sympathetic character. People want to cheer him, but the writers have none of it. But neither of them are doing anything that's particularly facey, particularly heely. So
I think the save on Seth Rollins is really the fact that they haven't had him do anything with the authority since he's been back.
Right, they nipped that in the bud. They didn't want him to be involved with the authority, so
But he's used the pedigree, which I find kind of, I don't know.
Right, you're wondering what it was building to, but, there you go. This match, the fans, the match went a little long for me. I think the whole show went a little long for me. Like,
there's a lot of false finishes on this match.
It was one of those things where it's like, oh my God, it's Reigns and AJ Styles all over again, where it's going to be, Reigns kicks out of everything plus a tank, and then he hits him with one spear, and that's it. So I think everyone was shocked. I thought Roman Reigns was going to win it due to some wacky stuff happening, and then he was going to go on to do whatever the hell he's going to do. So imagine my shock and surprise when Roman Reigns lost, when Rollins beats him clean after like 2 straight pedigrees to win the thing. That was not that by itself. If the show had ended there, that would have been on a good note.
Right.
But then Ambrose comes in, cashes in Money in the Bank. I think he's the first person to win it and cash in for the WWE title in the same night. I'm pretty sure, because Kane won it at WrestleMania 24 and cashed in and won the ECW title that night.
Yeah, but man, I swear there was one Money in the Bank where, was it Mysterio winning as champion or something, and
Kane, that's true. That was the world title. So this is the first one for the WWE title.
Okay.
So, but man, what a moment. And, great night for the state of Ohio. Dean Ambrose wins the WWE Championship. The Cavaliers win their first NBA championship in 52 years and whatnot. It was just a crazy night, and how fitting for Ambrose, the crazy character, to be the one to end it. And it was just crazy because I think people were kind of predicting this to happen. I didn't believe it. I didn't want to set myself up for disappointment. But all 3 members of the Shield holding the championship within like 5 minutes of each other.
Yeah, how cool is that?
A really cool moment. And really,
kudos to WWE.
Really sets up a triple threat Shield match either at SummerSlam or hopefully at WrestleMania. I think that'd be bigger. I think that would actually draw really well. Assuming everyone stays healthy, But I mean, the moment of Dean Ambrose winning the title was super, super positive,
Oh, it was.
When you consider how much fans have been disappointed with Dean Ambrose's direction in the last couple of years, after his feud with Seth, and how that he was kind of always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Pushing Roman at you.
It was just it's really interesting. They took the title off of Roman and they used Seth as an intermediary, a transitional thing, for Ambrose to win it. So.
Anticlimactic for Roman, in my opinion. I mean, geez.
It's
2
weird.
years of chasing that belt, and then he finally wins it, and 2 months later they take it off.
Well, was it been 2 months?
About
Almost
3
3
months.
But it's just one of those things where it's like you expected him to hold it for a long
Till
time.
Mania next year.
God forbid it went that long. But it's like I would have expected SummerSlam at the very least. So for what is essentially I think they're trying to build the importance of Money in the Bank up more now, but considering Money in the Bank has been kind of like a B show, it's not on the level of like Mania and SummerSlam and Royal Rumble.
They did a great job.
They did a very good job with this one. Very fun match in general. It's like I was expecting some wacky stuff when Roman Reigns got like hurt running into the barricade. I thought it was going to be referee stoppage. I thought it was going to be some bogus finish like that.
Everybody's going to boo again, even though we got the best night of the action in a long time. I will say this, man. I mean, how irrelevant was WrestleMania this year? Taking a look back right now, Triple H isn't even around as far as a champion. Brock Lesnar beat Dean Ambrose, who is now the World Heavyweight Champion. The New Day kept the belts. They're still champions. I mean, there was nothing significant.
And then, of course, Shane McMahon losing to The Undertaker.
And
but
still
having
getting
power,
Raw.
And Taker likely not wrestling ever again.
That card made 0 sense, WWE. I will say that right now.
It was just, WrestleMania was such a letdown in the grand scheme of things. A real big waste of their, whatever their record attendance for WrestleMania. And then you have this Money in the Bank show, which, on the surface you knew could have been good, but then it went even beyond that in terms of their, let's do final grade right now. I'd say my grade for it was an A-. Honestly, I'd say it's an A grade, but I think the Rusev Titus match, take it or leave it. The pre-show, and whatever. We're not going to factor Sheamus and Apollo Crews into the equation. Didn't see it, not going to count it toward the grade. But everything else I saw, and pretty much all the tag team matches, it was like, tag team championship match was fun. Would have been happier with the title change, and then of course the women's tag. It's like, without going into details of everything we just talked about, I'd say it was A-.
A- is a great
overall,
grade
and I think it's buoyed by the fact that we had a great Money in the Bank match, a very good style Cena match, first encounter, and then the main event with a finish that some people saw coming, but it was still extremely fun to see.
I popped.
Extremely fun to see. I popped for it too. What would you say? Would you say better or not as good as the conclusion to Money in the Bank? Was it 14 or 13 when CM Punk beat John Cena.
No,
or 12, or whatever it was.
No, this is better to me. This was better because it just established new stars, and yeah, that before with John Cena established CM Punk quite a bit, but there was just the rest of the card didn't live up as well as this one. I don't think.
But it's just one of those things where it's like it really was like a 3-match card.
Right. Everything else was just
it's like, but those 3, in my opinion, were so good that the other ones it didn't matter. If they were not the best matches in the world. So that's my grade. What's your grade?
A-, dude. I'm going with you. I think there's only a couple minor things that could have been a little bit better. Maybe the tag team titles change. Maybe not. They can keep those going for a long time, and the Money in the Bank women's match should have happened to me. Otherwise, everything else, hey, kudos to WWE. I do, in a way, wish that maybe the Styles Cena had a clean finish, but I also know for the longevity of the storyline and letting that play out, we'll get that eventual clean finish probably at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm. Also, P.S., I don't know if you guys were watching the network show, but we had pretty sweet seats.
Yeah,
we had some pretty big signs we were showing off. And some people were on Twitter saying, "Man, you got some fans holding your signs up." It was us.
Yeah.
It was us. We're the ones wearing these shirts. So yeah. Thank you for thinking us. We were strangers. It was us holding the signs up. The Dick Kick City.
You don't know the egghead by now?
I know. Come on. Well, the egghead was being covered by the sign.
Oh, okay.
Couldn't really tell. But no, we were actually kind of bummed at first. Oh man, our seats aren't good enough to get shown. But no, we
were on.
We were on.
TV.
So it's all over Twitter, man. Just look it up. But yeah, that was our take on Money in the Bank. Easily the best, most satisfying, most rewarding pay-per-view of 2016. Hell, a lot better than WrestleMania 32. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to thumbs up this video if you like it, subscribe to Wrestling with Regret, and buy the t-shirts at ProWrestlingTees.com. This one's not available there yet, but maybe one day it will be, assuming we don't have to worry with copyright stuff. Anyway, for Jay Biggs, I'm Brian Zane, and we'll see you next time.